Welcome to Reminiscing with History Makers for APCO. If you could start by introducing yourself and let us know when you joined APCO.
So my name is Blair Sutherland, and I joined APCO in 1987. Actually, my first conference was right here in Baltimore.
Nice. During your time at APCO, can you tell us what agencies you've worked for, the positions you held, and some of the responsibilities of those positions and the length of service?
So I started my time in public safety at Boston EMS. I transitioned from a field EMT to telecommunications, and from there was promoted to a line supervisor, and I stayed with Boston EMS until 1993. But it was with Boston EMS that I first became introduced to APCO. I went to the State 911 agency for 6 years, and this was the first time that this agency was actually in existence. And we were implementing enhanced 911 throughout the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. After that, in 1999, I moved to the Massachusetts State Police, where I was the Director of Telecommunications, and I remained in that position for almost 20 years. And in that position, I was in charge of all of the state police 911 communication centers, the 911 technology, as well as a statewide radio network where we greatly expanded interoperability and had a lot of technical and operational programs.
Can you describe what drew you to join APCO, and was there a particular person or event influential in getting you to join?
There certainly was a particular person influential in getting me to join. So when I transitioned to the communications section at Boston EMS, my boss at the time, whose name is Mike Mangini, Mike is a life member of APCO, he recommended that I look at becoming involved in the organization because of its opportunities for telecommunications and for telecommunicators to really get their feet wet. I was extraordinarily happy with even early on with joining APCO, and my first APCO conference being here in Baltimore. To me, meeting with all of these other people who did what I did for a living, it felt like almost an epiphany. There were so many people who understood what I was going through and what the center was going through, with challenges for funding and technology and just the stress of the job. I was hooked from that first conference through to this very day.
It's nice when you can find your own community. Can you describe some of your APCO activities at the state chapter or national level during your time with APCO, and what was your favorite? So
my first real involvement with any committee was a national committee, and it was the organizing committee for the 1990 APCO International Conference, which took place in Boston. So I was doing public relations for that committee, and it was wonderful to have this show in the city. At the time, the local chapters had more influence and I'm going to say control of some of the things that happened at the conference. So it was a wonderful experience, and I think that was my favorite of all of them. Since then, I've been involved with the APCO Institute. I was on the advisory committee in the 90s. I was part of Project Locate in the mid-2000s. And I've done a number of things with the chapter, including chair its scholarship committee for the past, almost 17 years, I think. And I went through the ranks at the chapter level. I was president of the Atlantic chapter in 2006.
Has your APCO membership had a direct effect in your career in public safety communications?
I honestly credit APCO with having a significant role in not only being able to kind of find my path in my career, but having the opportunity to meet other people, to develop those relationships, which are so important in this business. And going to the national conferences, I have to tell you, I learn as much on the exhibit floor as I do in the seminars, and I learn a lot from both and continue to do so to this day. APCO for me has really been my lifeline back into and with public safety communications. And even I retired 6 years ago, and I still come to the conferences. I'm retired with a little R, not with a big R. So I still do some work in the field, and it keeps me tied together with the people I care about and the career I care about.
What do you like most about APCO?
I think it's the opportunity to work with others in a common cause. There are so many people that are not just dedicated to the organization, but dedicated to the profession. And it's that kind of linking that I find most important, and that I enjoy the most.
What does APCO do better than anyone else?
APCO does. I'm speaking, as somebody who's been through a number of iterations of APCO priorities. APCO frequency coordination, I think, is and their tie-in with the FCC is so important, and I think that's one of the things that they do the very best. And that's usually not a high-profile job, right, or high-profile work, but having APCO as an advocate and APCO being as inclusive as they are with its members to ensure that they take input and do the best they can to influence the FCC on matters of spectrum.
Absolutely. With the advent of NG 911, what does APCO need to do to stay current with emerging technologies?
I think APCO needs to continue doing what it's doing now, which is to pay attention to where the technology is headed, and at the same time continue to pay attention to what's important to those who are using the technology. And that's often a difficult nexus to come to. I think with the technology moving so fast in particular, it's important that APCO keep its eye on the ball and not only advise its members, and which again I think they're doing a good job, but also ensure that they are advocating for the profession in the most stalwart way possible.
What stands out as a significant contribution of yours during your time at APCO?
So I have to tell you, the thing that stands out to me most was having the national conference in Boston in 1990 and again in 2000. And I would get on the conference committee in a nanosecond if APCO considered bringing the show back to Boston. For me, that was the most fulfilling, perhaps because it was earlier in my career, but it felt like we were showing the membership the best week they could possibly have.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for all your contributions.
Thank you.